Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. Today I'm going to give you a brief lecture on the essay The Day the Dam Broke by James Thurber. James Thurber is an American writer and cartoonist whose well-known and highly acclaimed writings and drawings pictures the urban man. Thurber attended the Ohio State University from 1913 to 1918 and left without taking a degree. In 1927, he joined Harold Ross' newly established magazine, The New Yorker. He was later to write an account of his essays. His first published drawing in the magazine appeared in 1931. In 1940, failing eyesight, the result of a boyhood accident, forced him to curtail his drawing, and by 1952 he had to give it up altogether as his blindness became nearly total. My Life and Hard Times is a whimsical group of autobiographical pieces appeared in 1933. The Day the Dam Broke is a humorous essay based on an accident of spreading a rumor of breaking the dam on the river Ohio in America. It is a good example of Thurber's sardonic but affectionate view of human behavior. When the rumor of the dam broke spread, the people of the city became very confused, and very sensible persons who showed power of completely ineffective. In the condition of panic, the self-judgment of conduct becomes weak, and people involved in further spreading the rumor due to their confusion and desperation. The Columbus, Ohio broken dam rumor began about noon of 12th March 1913 on High Street. The author is not sure as to how the rumor began. Perhaps it began thus: suddenly somebody began to run. Maybe he was late for an appointment to meet his wife, for which he was very late. Whatever it was, he ran towards the east. Somebody else began to run, perhaps a newsboy in high spirit. He was followed by a portly, fat gentleman of affairs who walked at trot. Inside of 10 minutes, everybody High Street was running. The fear of broken dam was put into words by a little old lady in an electric or a traffic cop police, or by a small boy, nobody knows who. All of a sudden, 2,000 people were running towards the east and shouting, "Go east!" The writer's mother and grandfather also joined the crowd. The writer's grandfather was under great misconception when he saw the crowd. He thought that the city was under an attack. So he, with his sword in his hand, shouted at the enemy, "Let the sons come!" So the grandfather had to be stunned with the ironic word. The writer had to carry grandfather on his back, who was over 6 feet and weighed about 170 pounds. Grandfather regained consciousness at Parsons Avenue, and again he challenged the rebel dogs. But at last, when he realizes that the dam had broken, he too joined the crowd. When the crowd was going past the fort, the crowd shouted, "Go east!" The lieutenant colonel thought that he was ordered to go east, so he in turn ordered his men to go to east, and along with 300 soldiers were running towards the east. Thus roared the colonel, "Go east!" The writer mentions a visitor in an airplane. While flying over the city, he looked down on the road but was horrified to see a crowd running on the street. It was very hard for him to know the reason why the people were running on the street. At the time of the dam scare, the writer's aunt, Edith Taylor, was in a movie theater. She could hear shouts and sounds of running feet. An old man said something and went towards the door at the trot. This startled everybody. In no time, the crowd inside the theater was rushing towards the exit. A woman shouted, "Fire!" who always expected to be burned up in the theater. So everyone inside the theater got frightened and rushed out of the theater. A woman in her late 50s went past the writer's aunt. So the writer's aunt, with some effort, came alongside her and asked, "What is it?" She looked at her and, stepping up her speed, replied, "Don't ask me, ask God." Dr. Mallory, while running to save his life, he fell on his face. He kept lying and did not bother to get up, as he was sure that the flood water would sweep him away. Soon the boy on the steps rushed past him, and only then he realizes what he had been running from. He looked back, but there was no sign of any water. But after resting a while, he started running again and caught up with the others, with Arthur's aunt on Ohio Avenue, where both of them rested together. Hundreds of people passed them. Nobody went in his car because all ears had to be cranked, and no one took the risk to start his car. The next day, everyone went to his work as usual. Everyone was so ashamed that no one had the courage to talk about the events of the previous day. Only after 2 years had passed that the people dared to talk about the breaking of the dam, jokingly. But people like Dr. Mallory, even after 20 years, would shut their mouth tightly because they were terribly ashamed of their conduct. The Day the Dam Broke is a story about the panic which was spread in the city of Ohio, America. It is an ironic but loving analysis of James Thurber's view. The whole story is a clever study of mind of mob in a state of panic. The actions displayed by one man caused fear for others. The people of all categories on social scale, men, women, and children participated in the panic. Later, when the panic died, the people felt a bit ashamed having behaved in such a cowardly fashion, and they did not like to talk about it on the next day. Coming to the question and answer. Question number 1. How accurate is the title of Thurber's essay? Answer. The Day the Dam Broke is an ironical title which is very accurate to convey a message of calamity on Columbus City. The title helps in making an analysis on human behavior and panic which usually spread in such conditions. Although the dam did not break actually, but the confusion, desperation and panic in the city was parallel to the events as dam had already broken. Question number 2. What can we gather about grandfather's age, physique and mental condition? Answer. The grandfather of Arthur was an old man of age, 65 years probably. He was retired from the army as a soldier, therefore he possessed a good physique. He was taller than 6 feet and his weight was almost 170 pounds. Question number 3. How does the panic appear to have started in Ohio? Answer. James Thurber does not mention an explicit cause as to how the rumor started in Columbus, Ohio. Business activities were in full swing on High Street, which was the main channel of the trade. Some people were making proud some little boasts. Suddenly somebody began to run, and in just 10 minutes 2,000 people were abruptly running like hell, shouting, "Go east, go east." The fear of broken dam might have been put into words by an old lady in the electric or by a traffic cop or by a small boy, but Thurber says that no one knew who spread the rumor. Question number 4. How did Thurber's mother cope with the situation? In this essay, Thurber tells us that his mother turned out all the fires. She planned to take refuge somewhere in the top of the memorial house, so she took with her a dozen eggs and 2 loaves of bread as to precaution against hunger during the refuge. Question number 5. What caused the Lieutenant Colonel of Infantry to lead a fleeing company of 300 persons? Answer. When a little girl passed from there crying, "Go east, go east," the colonel bounded off the porch quickly on hearing the voice of that girl and started running at full speed soon past that child. On the way, a fat man asked him the reason of running. Then the colonel turned behind and asked the little girl why she was crying, "Go east." The girl replied to him that the dam had broken and took the exhausted girl in his arms and started to run again towards the east with a company of 300 people. Question number 6. How long did the panic last and how was order restored? Answer. The broken dam rumor did not last more than 2 hours. The order was restored by militiamen. However, their blowing through the megaphone initially added to the confusion and increased the panic because people thought they were saying the dam has now broken rather than the dam has not broken. Question number 7. How did the panic start in the cinema of High Street? Answer. In the cinema, the panic started when the elderly man mumbled something and went up the aisle at the dog throat. This startled everybody and the woman shouted, "Fire!" But the shout outside the theater were louder. "Go east, the dam has broken." Then came out and they started running. Question number 8. Why did Dr. Mallory think that floodwaters were about to engulf him? Answer. Dr. Mallory passed the writer's aunt and in his panic said, "It got us." He was sure that the floodwaters were going to sweep him away. He actually mistook the swishing sound of the skates for the rushing water. So while running to save his life, he fell. He kept lying flat on his face as he was sure that the floodwaters would engulf him. Soon the boy on the skates rushed past him and only then he realizes what he had been running from. The answer to question number 9 is Thurber obtained the description of events in the cinema and the experience of Dr. Mallory from his aunt Edith Taylor. She was herself in the cinema and enjoying the movie when the panic started. She met Dr. Mallory on the way when she was running towards the east. Question number 10. Why did the citizens of Columbus not care to talk about the events of March 1913? Answer. The citizens of Columbus were so ashamed of their conduct the previous day that nobody had the courage to talk about the event of 12th March 1913. It was only after 2 years or more that the people plucked courage to talk about the broken dam rumor, jokingly. But there were a few people like Dr. Mallory who even after 20 years would shut their mouths lightly because they were terribly ashamed of their conduct on the 12th March 1913. Thank you so much, my dear students, for watching this lecture. I hope this brief lecture is very helpful for you in understanding the essay, The Day the Dam Broke. Keep watching